Hello, welcome to Appalachia Fusion. Excited again today. I'm always excited to cook, but last episode kindly talked a little bit about tradition of going to my grandma's and she'd fry up rabbit and stuff. So I had a couple rabbits that's been in the freezer that we killed while rabbit hunting. And that was tradition during Thanksgiving, was to go hunting. Papa, Dad, all of his brothers, stuff, they'd go rabbit hunting, kill several, and next morning Mama would make a big old breakfast every morning after Thanksgiving. And they would fry up rabbit and gravy and biscuits and stuff like that. So I got a couple rabbits here, and we're making dumplings today. And it ain't Grandma's dumplings, because Grandma's dumplings are way better than these, and I'm not the best dumpling maker, but I can make them. So we're doing a rabbit Cajun sausage dumpling today, something a little bit twist on. I think you guys will like it if you like those flavors. So got some celery, some broth, chicken broth, bay leaves already in the pot that's hot. We're going to put a rabbit in here, and it's all right, you can leave all the centering and stuff on the screen or on the skin, because what it's going to do, boil down, we're going to take the meat off the bone, totally take every bit of the meat off the bone. And I'm going to drop this in the sink back here. To that, we've already added some celery, and this is just making a good broth. And you can leave the carrots in this dish. I know traditionally, Mama and them, when they made chicken dumplings, didn't have no kind of vegetables at all in it. So I'm just going to cut them in pieces where the flavor come out, and they'll cook by the time rabbit gets cooked. And this just builds flavor. The bay leaves, the broth already have in there, the rabbit, the carrot, celery, and we're going to put a little bit of onion in it in a minute. Save the rest of the onion to eat with their cornbread. So I'm just going, I'll just put like half of this in, because we're going to do something with this in a minute. So anyhow, a little onion, a little carrot, a little celery. And we're going to put this back over on our other stovetop so we can start cooking something else. So this is our base of our broth. Got some chicken broth already in it, some onion, celery, carrots, and that's it, and bay leaves. So transfer that over here high, get it to boiling. Going to bring this back. I have approximately about 2 tablespoons of lard in it. I'm on a lard kick right now. Like I need it, but anyhow, we're going to finally dice some onions. And what I'm doing actually here, be honest with you, where we're cooking this in a shorter time, I'm going to build some extra flavor in my dumplings. Because technically, I would like to cook that half a day. Just simmer, cook it, and let some good broth. That's not going to happen here. So we're going to add some extra flavor by sauteing some onions, some fine carrots and celery, and we're going to cook our Cajun sausage, and we're going to set it to the side. When our rabbit gets done and cools enough that we can shred it, we're going to mix all that together, and then we'll have our pot here with our broth in it, strained broth. We'll make our dumplings, cook our dumplings, and put our veggies and meat back in it and let it set for a few minutes, and all that flavor will go together. So we're just going to cut us up some onion real quick. We got this on high with some lard in it. And it's pretty much just a trinity. Peppers, celery, carrots. We ain't put no bell peppers or nothing like that in it. We're going to make cornbread today and not forget the eggs. If you've already watched that episode, you'll know what I'm talking about. Hey, I'm no pro. I'm just a good old cook. But everybody forgets, and don't forget your eggs and your cornbread. So anyhow, keep dicing this up. Already had it tore apart, or I'd have diced it a little bit different and it'd been a little quicker. But anyways, we don't have nothing but time, we hope. So, anyways, get back to traditions. So, I was raised in a huge family. It would be an understatement. Mama and Papa had several boys and girls. And I have too many cousins, name or count. I'd have to take my shoes off, cut my toes 2 or 3 times, all that. Anyways, Mama would make a huge breakfast. Fried rabbit, fried chicken, fried potatoes, all in lard, of course. More gravy and biscuits than you could eat. And then she would make, eggs and everything else. So, anyhow, saying that, it'd just be huge, and everybody always looked forward to it. And, that's what Dad and all of them did during that time, Thanksgiving. They go out Thanksgiving morning, hunt all day long, rabbit, quail, whatever they could find back then. And then bring it in of the evening, dress it all up, eat Thanksgiving dinner. Then next morning, everyone would meet up there and, of course, have the big breakfast. I didn't get to partake in as much as I'd like because that tradition kind of ended as Papa got older and everyone else got older and got families. They did their own thing during Thanksgiving. So, but I do remember, and I remember stories of it and Papa and them talking about it. And it's just great that, I used to sit with Papa all the time in the yard because he wasn't able to do much more. So we'd go and sit in the yard, and I was probably, 7, 8 years old, 6, 7. I can remember we'd shoot slingshots and set, and he'd tell me about the old days and how him and my neighbor, some of y'all out there may know him, Lester Bishop, they would always hunt, and they actually killed rabbits and stuff with slingshots. It was just wild. And go fishing and walk the hills and tell me about time squirrel hunting. It's just, you can't replace those moments at all. And so if you got grandparents and parents out there, if you get a shot to sit down with them or learn how to cook with them or whatever, take that advantage, take it up and do all you can do with them and cherish every minute of it. So that's what gets me to cooking. I can remember in the daggone kitchen when I was even old enough to hardly look at the stove, and I'd be sitting there watching them cook, and Mama would be explaining to me how she did hamburgers or made pancakes, and just so much you can learn at that age, and so take advantage of it. See my carrots, see my onions, and this is just for extra flavor only. Because we can't build as much as I would like in the time we're cooking here today. So we're going to just add a little bit of celery to that. Pays to have a sharp knife as long as you don't cut your finger with it. And we've talked about that several times on these shows. It's an expensive knife, but it ain't super expensive. And I'm saying that, and you can get a pair of them probably for between $75 to $100. If you look online, I found them on the marketplace, a whole set of them, and I bought them for $100. So, check those places out. You never know what kind of deal you can get. And it's about a $600 set of knives, the whole set. So, just, MTTV, get on the internet, get on Facebook, click on Marketplace. There you go. Use that internet. We're building flavor. We got the onions, peppers, and stuff like that in there. We're going to go ahead and get started making dumplings. Just turn that cutting board over. We got the water. We got flour. The rabbit's boiling nice. I'll show that to you right now. Y'all would like to see that. It's just boiling up, making that broth and making that broth up, and that's what you want, just cooking down like that. So, and this should work. Okay, there's my measuring cup. I'm actually going to pour this back in there. So make the dumplings I'm making today. I got 2 cups of flour, a tablespoon of baking powder already in here, a couple tablespoons of oil, and we want a cup of warm water. Okay, we're going to pour a little bit in at a time. And let me get a rubber spatula, I think would be best. Alright, get a couple here. Da-da-da. I was looking for that earlier. Imagine what you find when you look in the right spot. I'll show you what I was going to use in case you don't have a rolling pin, but most homes in East Kentucky has at least one rolling pin. So anyhow, I'm going to start incorporating these together. And you can make your dumplings ahead of time and set them to the side. That's what we're going to do, so whenever everything gets done, we can just drop them in the broth, let them cook. So you don't want them dry, but you don't want them sticky, so incorporate a little bit of water at a time till you get them the exact consistency that you want. Tell you what, they ain't much heartier than a bowl full of dumplings and some cornbread, milk, and a slice of onion, and butter melting on that cornbread. I'll just tell you, that's a good meal. My wife's favorite meal that my mother makes is chicken and dumplings. So we want to add just a little more water. It's getting there. Work that oil, flour, everything in together. And I'll work this together with my hands now. Is what I'll do. So we're done with that. Just get it out and start working it together, kneading it together is what we're actually doing. I'm going to turn this down. Stir it with my flour hands one more time. Turn it down on low and just let it sit there and cook. It's fine. It ain't going to burn. It's all the way down on minimal, and it'll just sit there and finish cooking. So we want to keep kneading this till it all comes together good. Get every little bit together. This is how I make dumplings. I'm no expert at making dumplings. So saying that, use your favorite grandma's dumpling recipe to make these. And I'm different on dumplings. I'll eat any kind of dumpling, but I like small, smooth, skinny dumplings. That's my favorite way to eat them. So I know my dad's opposite. He likes the big fluffy, but I don't. So I'm making it how I like it today. When you're watching this, Dad. So anyhow, I'm actually going to move that a minute. I'm going to use my bits here. I'm going to add some flour to it. Generously add some flour so it don't stick. I'm making a mess. I'm good at that. Just start rolling it out. But I like to do it about 1/8 inch thick. Or thin, however you want to say that. We're going to roll it a couple of times. That way it makes good, skinny dumplings. I was going to use a smooth mason jar. I already found one, and because I thought we had a roller, but I couldn't find it. So I was just going to use this thin mason jar. I'm going to fold this back on itself again, like that, and roll it out one more time. Don't worry about the excess flour because it's going to be in dumplings. All that does is make your broth thick. So we're going to roll this back out one more time. It should make them a little more dense, how I like them. Takes a minute to roll them back out. And I didn't try and make it perfect square round or whatever. I'll just cut them. I'm not that particular when it comes to that. You can do it however you want to. But we just want them thin right now. my main goal is make them thin dumplings. So applying quite a bit of pressure, get them to that. Let's say we're getting close to where I want it. Okay. So I don't want to cut our pretty table here. And I know they don't want me to cut it, so I'm going to put it back on there. And actually, I want to rake out this little bit that's in here. We'll just put our dumplings back in here so we don't waste space or dirty something else. So I'm just going to cut them. Like I said, I like small, skinny dumplings. Let me get this out of our way here so you can see. So I want to cut them about close to an inch. And you'll see why in the end for this recipe, why I'm making them this small. You don't want to overpower everything that's going to be in dish with a big old cloudy dumpling. So, cut them all that way. Oh, one's going to be a little smaller. Okay. Now let me cut these and we'll get them in there and then cut the rest of them up. Julie's grandmother in Ohio, I only got to eat them a couple times, but she made the best dumplings. And my other mama did too. She wouldn't make dumplings that she had fresh chicken. I mean farm-raised chicken. She didn't have them, she would not make dumplings, would not. Jonathan, it's actually Jonathan's aunt, Mama Bertha. And so she killed her chickens, put them in the freezer. And those chickens only made for dumplings. That's it, period. And they was good. She'd boil that big old fat hen up, and that yellow fat would roll off of it in the stock. And she'd let that cool, and she'd let me shred it because she didn't like shredding it. So I'd shred it all up in little pieces. I'm talking about this little feller doing it. And then she would roll out them dumplings and shred that chicken, cook them, throw that chicken in there, and just let them set for a few hours. And I'm telling you, it was just absolutely delicious. If you ever had the privilege, and Julie's mama in Ohio was the same way, made little pretty yellow dumplings. And so anyhow, just memories. So we're about done with the dumplings here. Then we're going to clean up, see how our rabbit's done. It'll probably have boil a little bit longer. And we can actually drop our dumplings in a little bit and then add our rabbit and sausage and stuff later. We still got to cut some Cajun sausage up in a minute. And after I clean the mess up, that's what we'll start on. That, then we'll go to shredding our rabbits, stuff like that. Okay, my dumplings are already made. We'll just set them to the side. They ain't sticking together. They're ready to drop in broth in a little bit. Clean this up and be right back. Now we're to the Cajun side. Now we're to the twist side. Actually, I guess there are a few twists in this, but anyways, y'all know me. It's going to have a twist in it. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing better than home-cooked Appalachia meals. Straight out this East Kentucky, slap you in the mouth, grandma's cooking. Nothing better, ever. No better comfort food, no better nothing. But when you get a chance, I like throwing a little twist to kick it up sometimes. But if you ask me what I like to eat, if I could pick, it'd be just a big old bowl of soup, beans, cornbread, and onion with it. So don't think I'm trying to change Appalachia cooking or food. I'm just giving y'all a little bit of different option, throwing some twist in it from the travels and places I've been. So anyhow, Cajun sausage, there's your twist. And actually this is a Conneck, it's a weird name, Connech, something like that, Cajun. It's made in South Alabama. And you could actually buy this in Walmarts and stuff in the South. So if you're down there, get you some, bring it home. My good buddy Chase Frederick brought this back from his vacation for me. So I've been excited to cook with it. We're going to put some in dumplings, believe it or not, so it's going to be different. We're going to eat some of it. Just plain out eat it. So when it cooks. So we're going to fry it all up. Turn this back on. Might have add some oil to it in a minute. I'm just slicing it 3/8, ½ inch, whatever. I mean, it's fine. So get all this sliced up. Then next we're going to make a pone cornbread and finish our dumplings. You'll really like this sausage if you ever get to try it. So anyhow, there's your sausage. It's going in our pan. And this will help build flavor too. This will melt into it. Like I said, I need to add just a little bit of cooking oil to it. This is some high temp stir fry oil. This will keep it from burning. You can use whatever oil, it don't matter. The sausage will cook some oil out of it in a minute too. So that's enough to keep it from burning. We turned it back up on towards medium high so it can cook down. And we will be coming back getting our cornbread ready to put in the oven. So kindly during the break we was wondering where pone come from, since I said corn pone. So I guess if it's poor white people and stuff called corn pone, and I could look like a corn pone, you know, with my physique here, my country Appalachia physique, by eating too much cornbread. Sometime early 1600s, Indians made cornbread, corn pones, and called it a pone, eggless. So I wasn't all the way wrong, even though I did it. They just fried it. So maybe it's, you know, if you're baking it, make sure you put the eggs. But somehow, do your research, corn pone from there all the way up to the southern states, the slaves to the poorer white people up here in Appalachia. It was always called the corn pone, or hey, corn pone. You know, nickname, classify it, however you want to say it. It probably wouldn't be political correct today, but it's your history lesson from Appalachia Fusion, thanks to Lisa Fannin. So, you want to know more in depth about corn pone, send Lisa an email. Just joking. Don't send her email, she's busy. But that's funny. So, cornbread. Got some yellow cornmeal, salt, a little bit of flour, and we're going to add about a cup of milk, and we're going to add two eggs. I'm going to go ahead and add them. 1 egg, 2 eggs, and milk. Add that much. I always use a fork. This is how I've always done it. You can use whisk, whatever you want to. This Cajun sausage and stuff smells good. Take a look at that. Some of this is going to be in dumplings, not all of it. Just a little bit of it. The rest of it, we're just going to flat out eat it. I'm not going to lie. Cajun sausage, peppers, onions, and carrots. Going to be yummy food in a little bit. Throw you some taters in there and fry it. Throw you some taters in there and fry up with that, and you got a complete meal. I mean, another whole meal. You wouldn't even have to do dumplings or nothing. So I like making this somewhat thin. What I hadn't told y'all yet is we got a cast iron skillet that's in the oven, and it's been in there probably close to an hour with 2 tablespoons of lard, getting good and heated up. And when we dump this in here in a minute, it's going to sizzle, and it's going to make the bottom of your cornbread good and brown, and that's what makes a good crispy cornbread. So I like it about like that, where it pours easy. And it is hot, my friend. I mean smoking hot. So let's get all this goodness out. We don't waste none of this. None of it. So it should take 15 minutes or so to cook this. Just simple cornbread. And I do not put sugar in it. I do not fault no one that does put sugar in it. I like it both ways. I like cornbread anyways. I just most of the time don't put sugar in mine. So I'll put this back in the oven. I got it on 425. Bake it about 15 minutes or so till it's done. So we're done with all this. You notice I already got the butter slightly melted like Grandma would have on the table. So when that cornbread comes out hot, we can just cut a little slice of it off and let it melt all over cornbread. Yummy. We're going to turn this Cajun sausage down. It's done. We actually need to check on our rabbit. Man, it smells so good. I wish you all could smell that out here. This is going to be sliced to eat with our food in a little bit. I don't know, but if I have cornbread or anything, I love a cold glass of milk and a cold slice of onion with it. I mean, it's like meat and potatoes. They go together. So, let's see how tender our rabbit's getting. Let's see what I got here to work with. Let me get a set of tongs here. And you just want it to where it'll start getting, and it's getting close, where it'll just flake off. And believe it or not, here in a little bit, it'll be there. I bet you these are already ready. And this just takes some time. You'll just flake every bit of that off and shred it up, and we'll go that route in a minute. So when we get back here in a little bit, if you see our sausage is done, we're just waiting to finish our rabbit up, shred it, and we'll be doing some dumplings here. So we're getting there. Cornbread, we're taking it out of the oven. Good pan, you ought to be able to just dump it out like that and have a good crispy brown edge. Now that's cornbread. That's how it should look. My favorite. Crispy on there. It's done. We'll just let it set it to the side till we get ready to eat. If you notice the top's brown too. I don't like a real thick cornbread. My mama always made it like super thick and hers was good, but I've never had good luck making thick cornbread, so I like it about like this. Turn it back over, and we'll eat that with our chicken dumplings in a little bit. Okay, now we're going to work on the rabbit. Now, the reason why I like to boil the thighs and stuff, it helps it break down to where you can just get the meat off of it like that. And it takes some work, but it's worth it. And you can get all the meat off of it. And be honest with you, this dish, I only have like a couple rabbits. You probably need, if you're making a big pot of dumplings, you probably need 4 rabbits or so. And what you don't shred off here, you can put back in your broth and make a better broth. You just keep shredding it like this. And half of people, if they didn't know rabbits in it, would not have a clue because it's so small and it just shreds up in it so good. We'll get meat off that in a minute. But you just keep working it off the bone like that. And it pulls every bit of, you just have meat, all you'll have, a big pile of meat. You can make sure you don't have, just keep working it and keep getting it off of it. Throw the pieces you don't want to weigh. And if you're making like a burgoo, and we might make it sometime, I made it a few times with squirrel and rabbit, you do it the same way. Boil your meat till it's ready to shred, and you just add shredded meat. You can add whatever kind of seasoning. You can make barbecue out of this. Literally make rabbit barbecue for a sandwich. Just put it on there, your favorite barbecue sauce, whether it's homemade, store-bought, whatever, and get you a hamburger bun, throw it on it. So, you don't waste near as much like this either. And when you put it in the broth in these small pieces and you get it boiling back again, it don't take no time. I mean, it just shreds on down. So we'll just keep picking it off the bone. We'll have a pretty good pile of meat. But like I said, if you're making a big thing of dumplings, plan on 3 or 4 rabbits easily. So we're picking all this off the bone. And chicken breast, yeah, it'd be a lot easier. You know, when you're picking chicken off a bone or whatever, it does come off easy. It's well worth it. It gives you something totally different. It uses rabbit that we all probably, most people, if you grew up in East Kentucky, chances are some point in your life, if you're 30 or older, 35 or older, you probably had rabbit. Someone in your family's probably killed one and fried it. It's one of my dad's favorite things to eat is fried rabbit. So I try frying one up every now and then. And I want to actually take these out because they are red hot. Rabbit's sort of a dark like meat. I mean, you get to some of I guess it's kind of in between. I mean, if you look at it, it's kind of like just I wouldn't really say dark. Some of it's darker than other. Here's the front shoulder off one. And trust me, you want to let it cool. So I told you a process of that. We're going to let that cool before I can shred it. Now I want to save this broth. So I'll show you how I'm going to do that. I got our big pot of broth right here. I'm going to kindly slide this to the side and bring this in here. I want to dump our rabbit broth in here just like this and strain it out. And that's what's got some more of that carrot flavor and celery flavor. Bay leaf and all that. So we got all that goodness right here. Here's a piece of rabbit we'll want for later. Okay, there's your rabbit broth in here. Mix it with some chicken broth. That's what we're going to put in our dumplings in a little bit. Take all this off, put it back over here on our stove. Make sure you turn your burners off. Put this back on here to keep it hot while we're shredding our rabbit up. So come back, we're going to finish this thing. So we got our broth cooking here. And what we're going to do, and we'll show you how we do this, and then we'll put it all together. It's boiling, and we're going to drop our dumplings in here. You don't want to drop too many at one time because you want to roll and boil and let them come back up and cook. And I'll show you that they're doing that right now. If you drop a bunch of them at one time, they'll clump together, make a big old clump. So we're going to drop several in here. I'm giving them time to go down and come back up. And like if you've seen this, we got our rabbit broth with the celery and carrots in there, and we're just dropping dumplings now. So if you can see that, they're coming back up to the top. And that's what you want, and you want them boiling and cooking. Oh, don't dump them. So they're actually coming back to the top and rising. So we're going to get all of our dumplings cooking and put our meat and sausage back in. We'll show you the end product in a minute. Our dumplings are now done. If you see them, they've been boiled up and done. Good firm dumplings. Rabbit, chicken broth. So we got the rabbit meat and the sausage, some extra flavor we're going to dump in there right now. It's still good and hot. Let me get us a nice bowl to put a serving of dumplings in. Looks good to me. Stir this up. Like I said, really a couple more rabbits, you know, and it'd be perfect. Let this all heat back together here for a minute. We got our butter that's hot. This just come out of the oven and it's still hot. So we're going to dump our cornbread. Take our knife. We went through a pone. Remember, if y'all need more info on that, you know how to get that. I'm going to cut little smaller pieces because we usually have a few people that eats. Most time, this half for me and pieces for everybody else. So anyways, cut it. Everybody get a slice of it. Good and ready. Every now and then I like taking a little bit of this butter. It melted and stuck to the board on me, which is good. So then this is real butter. Just take you a few slices of that, slather on top of it. Let it be melting down in there before you eat good. Running all over it like that. So, okay, there's your cornbread. Let's get some of these dumplings out. Let me do this one. So we want a little bit of the rabbit, the sausage, and everything. Hey, that's hot. If you have a slotted spoon, it's a lot easier. I just want to show y'all a little bit of it all. Okay. So, this is our meal, which is our sausage, dumplings, carrots, rabbit mixed up in there. And then, of course, we'd serve it with a big slice of cornbread right here on the side of it on the side. And there you go. Welcome to this episode again, and thank y'all for tuning in. Our rabbit dumplings, which recipe be on the website, MTTV. Go down to the food section, click on it. I have past recipes, some past episodes on the YouTube channel already. Tune in, click on them if you've missed any, and look us up. We appreciate another edition, another episode of Appalachia Fusion. Here's the fusion dish for today. Appalachia rabbit dumplings. Thanks.